Hey everyone, and welcome to Restaurant Tech Trends, where we try to carve 10 to 15 minutes out of each week to talk with movers and shakers in the restaurant tech industry. Today we're joined by Chris Incorvati. Chris is the Chief Technology Officer at Jack's Family Restaurants, which is a rapidly expanding Southeast based quick service chain, really known for their Southern favorites like hand breaded fried chicken, Southern style burgers. And Chris, I was actually looking at your website at some of your breakfast biscuits. I'm in Seattle, so we don't have any Jacks up here, but I think those biscuits would be my
Yeah,
favorite. Thanks for joining us today, Chris.
no, thanks for having me. You're missing out for sure on those biscuits. They're delicious. So,
They look amazing. I'm looking at these pork chop biscuits right now and I'm like salivating over here, literally. So, Chris, we've actually known one another for a while, actually, since the time you were at Panera. I'm curious, before we get into it, what prompted you to make the leap over to Jack's?
just a great opportunity here. They're, like you said, a rapidly expanding team looking to add some new technology and as they're growing, and their growth pattern has led to some great sales and some things that they're doing here. And they have an amazing team of people. It's all about people in this industry, hospitality, right?
For sure.
Yeah. So, I mean, as we're growing, it gave me an opportunity to kind of grow with the team and develop some things. And we're really, looking forward to rolling out some new projects this year.
Awesome. I know it's keeping you busy. We just saw each other recently at Mertech, and one thing I wanted to ask you about was I know Skip Kimpel with Magicgate, he was had this like VR headset thing. What was that thing? We talked about it a little bit. What do you think about that thing?
Yeah, it's really neat technology. So basically what happens is Skip gave a demo of, you put on the virtual goggles, right? And you are immersed in a restaurant. And from a training perspective, it's a huge opportunity for people that if they're hiring for a new store opening and they don't have a place to do training, you're in this environment. Now, not only does it replicate the real restaurant environment to make a sandwich or walk around the store, but it also keeps your full attention. You don't have an employee that might be on a phone or get distracted from other things. They're really immersed in that environment. And so I
Because you
made
got the headset.
yeah. And you look around left to right and you're seeing everything in the store that would be there in a real store environment. So the thing I thought was really exciting was, I made some sandwiches and it's prompting you through the process of making the sandwich and where everything is exactly as it would be set up in the store. So from a training perspective, if you had an employee and you train them, it would be like they're right there. And then day one, when they go to the store, they have familiarity of where everything is and how to make it. So really a neat
That's cool.
process. I mean, this is something I think is a game changer for the future.
I can imagine too if you had like a restaurant that was under construction or something like that, and you're trying to get the staff all trained up and have them like ready to go on day one. Something like that could be total game
Yeah,
changer. Very
exactly.
cool.
And not only that, but just walking the floor of the store, if you're trying to put in new equipment or design where things should go, you've got that, realistic environment. And Skip's actually taking measurements of store equipment in some cases, and they're putting it in the actual places where it will be. So you can actually see how it will measure up from a walkway perspective, it's going to block other things, or how it's going to fit in. So really neat.
Nice. Well, I'm curious, what else did you see at Mertech? There's a lot of stuff going on there. I went to a bunch of sessions. I walked around and looked at different booths. You see anything else that was like exciting
Yeah,
to you?
I mean, obviously the AI stuff, which I think we can get to, and obviously data and reporting, huge, right? And I think loyalty and customer interaction, kind of understanding trends and personalization was a big thing, a big takeaway. So I think there's a lot of neat things going on there.
Very cool. Well, let's zero in a little bit more on Jax. So I know
Sure.
you've been working on a big POS rollout for a while. You're obviously like right in the thick of things. As you look forward over the next, let's just say like 12 to 24 months, what does the future of technology look like at Jack's Family Restaurants?
Yeah, so we're upgrading our point of sale system, rolling out a PAR point of sale, which we're very excited about. We're going to be experimenting with kiosks. We've never done that before. So trying to improve the overall guest experience, speed of service, customer interaction, and really improve that overall. So we're very excited about that.
What are you hoping to accomplish, by the way, with the kiosks?
Well, sometimes, at Jack's we drive a lot of traffic through drive-through, right? And our in-store can get very backed up quickly. We've got two registers usually at the
Mm,
front. So we're hoping to drive some more traffic and present some folks with an option to order up front and not have to wait for a cashier. And then also hopefully we get a little bit of a lift from check average, through kiosk. I think people we have some great, southern items that are not low calorie. So maybe people feel a little more comfortable ordering those items from a kiosk than in person.
They don't feel guilty.
Yeah, exactly. Like I might order an extra pie, right? I'm not gonna, I love those things, but might not want to order them, for the person. So
I love it. I never thought about kiosks reducing the guilt factor to order food, but I guess, you've got that gravy,
get that
that
extra
southern style
shake,
gravy.
yeah, or a shake, or whatever. Yeah.
So you mentioned some of the other things that were interesting to you at Mertech. You mentioned personalization, you mentioned AI. Where do you see the most opportunity for AI in general, and then maybe personalization specifically as you look out over the next couple of years?
Sure. So I think, we've talked about this before, you and I, about AI, and it's no one's unlocked the magic bullet yet for it, right? We're getting closer, I think, as more applications have more uses, that we're seeing things being introduced. But for restaurants in general, I think that there's an opportunity from an upsell and order accuracy perspective, from not only drive through, but also over the phones, capturing those orders. Restaurateurs don't answer the phones. It's hard. I think staffing
Yeah.
wise, the phones ring, no one gets them, and it's just they're too busy. So there's a huge opportunity there to capture sales. And then from a guest opportunity, having an ad-driven IVR that, directs traffic or answers questions for them that they might not be able to get otherwise. Huge opportunity, whether it be from nutritional information or, hey, where's my order? Because I placed it and I want to know where my driver is. And maybe it sends a link to them to say, hey, here's the order. And then
Yeah, yeah.
data-driven information about, customers, and providing that information to the store so they can really hone in and give that personalized experience, right? We talked about trying to make sure that they're given what they might want, or recognize where there's an opportunity to try to get them more involved, or send them a request that says, hey, we noticed they haven't been out here so long, but really helping to be more efficient, right? One thing I think with AI that often gets, people talk about saving labor. I don't think that that's really the use case for AI. I think it's really enhancing and improving and making more efficiencies. So I think there's such an opportunity with AI that is untapped.
Well, Chris, that's really all I had for you. Is there anything that you'd like to share with our guests before we wrap up?
Just if you're in the Mississippi, Alabama, Tennessee, or Georgia area, and you see a Jack, stop in, say hello. I think you really enjoy the experience. And thanks for having me today. It's been fun.
Awesome. Chris Incorvati, Jack's Family Restaurants. Thank you, Chris.
Thank you.